All right, aloha, and welcome to those of you who may be watching this in the future. This is another one of our Conscious Creator work periods for leading members here through Paradigm Shift Central, all about being able to support each other as conscious creators, talking about social media tactics, strategies, ways to be able to help support ourselves and get our message out there. We got it's just right now it's just me and Oleg here in the chat, so we're going to get into just kind of catching up on things that we talked about last week related to Patreon. And Oleg's actually got their Patreon in the process of being developed right now. And okay, cool. We also got Pisces here too. Pisces, give me a thumbs up if you can hear us. Okay, good. Pisces, you're perfect timing. Okay, so just getting right into this, just a couple things to be able to cover. Again, why Patreon? Why do I keep emphasizing Patreon? For those of you who may be listening to this, I would encourage you to go back and check out the previous broadcasts that we've done, the previous recordings that we have of our work periods that give a little bit more of an overview into the Patreon. Very simply put, Patreon is, again, a super why it's a well-known platform that a lot of artists use to be able to help invite their community members to support with monthly contributions, and to also be able to provide them with exclusive perks, rewards, benefits, services, things of that manner. And so building a Patreon, especially for us as conscious creators, is incredibly important, because we have to look at this as not just being not just being a conscious creator, but essentially being an entrepreneur. And so being an entrepreneur means being responsible for the idea that we want to be able to create a form of regenerative income that's going to allow us to keep doing content further into the future. We would actually be doing ourselves a disservice if we were to just be like, hey, I'm just going to create a bunch of content, create a bunch of content, create a bunch of content. And then eventually it's like flash forward, like further down the line, and you're just like, whoa, like I can't keep doing this anymore because I don't have the regenerative energy that's allowing me to keep focusing on this. So the ideal here is that over time, by building your Patreon, this is going to allow you to essentially shift some of your focus to what might be considered like a part-time job, a part-time hobby, and then eventually over time, opening your heart up to this idea that this could be something that you could be doing full time. And that's the objective here within the project that we're trying to support. Obviously, within this, I want to be able to help, like, this is kind of like the broad thing. I want to be able to help like 100 conscious creators become self-sustained and doing what they love, because that's what's going to help accelerate the shift in consciousness in some big ways. So if my Patreon's been successful over the years, and now I want to be able to help you guys build your Patreon as well. So the other thing I'll just mention quickly, and then we'll get into Oleg's Patreon, and as well as Pisces getting into some brainstorming. Both of them were here in the previous recording that we did as well. I encourage you guys to, again, if you're starting to think about the Patreon, understand that there is a benefit in being able to create your Patreon sooner rather than later. Don't sit on it for too long. Don't be like, oh, that's a cool idea. I think I heard some people talk about that. And then it's like 2 months down the road, and then you're getting started on it. Start on it now. Start on it today. Even if it's just as simple as creating your profile, starting to write out some ideas for your tier, starting to get a little bit of brainstorming going on. Because again, every time that you are creating content, there is that invitation there for people to be able to connect with you further, to learn more about you, and for you to be able to invite them to be able to connect and support through your Patreon. Especially with TikTok, there's going to be a lot of people that are passing through your TikTok that are basically just going to be like there for one video, and then after that, you might not see them again. That's just kind of the way the algorithm works. So you want to be able to, again, focus on developing those meaningful relationships. And as you do, again, as you're investing your time into going on lives, into creating content, every single thing that you do is also creating a further relationship between yourself and your audience that you can channel that energy towards your Patreon. And again, the difference here is that you're not just asking people to give you money, you're inviting them to be a part of something that they too are passionate about. So not only are they supporting an artist that they enjoy and they appreciate and they want to see more of, they're also receiving something that's going to support them as well. So making sure that you're communicating clearly. So building a Patreon is a great way to be able to help like give you an opportunity to kind of like shift your perception on money and energy, and also be able to help elevate your styles of communication to be able to comfortably direct people into the Patreon. And again, to be able to position yourself in a place of leadership through building a community that is focused around your Patreon. So again, a couple things real quick with building a Patreon that we talked about last time. We talked about the idea of doing like, again, exclusive videos or things like that. That's kind of the basic. The other thing I would encourage, and Oleg's got this, is to be able to have people who sign up for your Patreon get like a discount for items. So if you've got physical items, that's always really valuable. Side note here, when it comes to like entrepreneurship, one of the ways to succeed is to be able to actually have like multiple streams of revenue. So again, if you're having like items that you're selling through a shop, and your Patreon, that's valuable. And especially if people are joining on your Patreon and then they get a discount for an item, that could entice them to purchase an item that they otherwise may not have purchased. So you're making sales there that otherwise wouldn't have happened. And then again, the other options, such as being able to create a Discord channel, a Discord server. So again, that's going to be your private community team chat, where you can connect more with people who want to be able to learn from you one-on-one, and also the option to be able to host on-air or pre-recorded, or on-air or like off-air recorded Zoom calls, where you can kind of niche things around a particular service that you would like to be able to support people in. Evidently, the bigger picture being about being able to uplift consciousness, awaken people into their own power, their own creativity, but bringing your own unique style into it as well. And again, this is where you can get into the idea of mimicking styles that I've done, where you could be doing tarot readings on air, or just be doing any sort of broadcast on air, Q&A, providing value, and then saying to people, hey guys, I really appreciate you joining in. If you guys would like to connect further, be sure to click the link in my profile and join my Patreon. Check it out. Message me if you got any questions. A little thing that I've been doing as a quick little tip, this has been quite useful, is when I mention the Patreon on air, even when I'm just on live, like just for a little bit, I'll just kind of mention people and be like, yeah, we're here, we're building the team. And then I'll be like, hey guys, like for those of you who haven't heard, you guys are welcome to connect to my Patreon. It's a monthly contribution. It's a membership that you can get additional access and rewards. And then what I do is I ask them and be like, if you guys are thinking of signing up for the Patreon, drop a 555 in the comments and I'll follow you back on TikTok right now. And then if you have any questions, let me know. So that way it kind of entices them to almost like make a decision right there on the spot, where they're just like, okay, yeah, I know I like this person. I don't know for sure if I'm going to sign up for the Patreon just yet, but I am interested. And then you create that connection. And then when you got that connection, you can just kind of follow up and just be like, hey, thanks for joining the live today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Here's the direct link, or direct them to your profile. So again, just a little tip like that can actually go a long way, because I think as your audience continues to grow and the audience on your lives continue to grow, whether they be on Instagram or on TikTok, being able to utilize that tactic is going to be helpful for directing people in. And then again, also with the Discord channel, you can set up the Discord where people can join the Discord in a public aspect, the free area. And then within your Discord, you can also have the private channels as well, which are specifically for your Patreon supporters. Again, very much like how we got it, but kind of tailored around your unique style. So what I'm going to do here, that's just kind of a brief overview. And again, if you guys are looking for more info on the Patreon, go back and check out the previous recordings. I'll post a link for the previous meetings down in the YouTube info, so you guys can check that out, plus the other topics that we do. And what I want to do is I want to just keep doing these meetings week to week, and whether, again, rotating through different people coming in, and I'm here to support you guys, get feedback. We're going to brainstorm. And so we're going to pass it over to, well, I guess Oleg or Pisces, you guys can kind of decide who wants to go first. Oleg has already got the link for their Patreon, and they're starting to get their tiers up. And I know Pisces actually wanted to brainstorm the pricing on their tiers too. So one of you guys just let me know, and let me know where you're at in terms of the Patreon, or things related to the Patreon tactics, such as your Discord, live broadcasts, things like that. And we'll go from there. So either one of you, just let me know if you want to volunteer to go first, and that's totally fine, whatever you guys decide. So Oleg, do you want to go first then? Okay, cool. All right, so we'll pass it over to Oleg. So Oleg, go ahead. You can
I was going to say that she could go first. I didn't even know it was needed. Pisces, you can go first.
Or unless Pisces wants to let Oleg go first. I think Pisces wants Oleg to go first, because that will probably help with some ideas as we're going. So, okay, so Oleg, go ahead and just, as it is with your Patreon, you've got one tier set up at your $5 a month. Again, this is based on stuff we were talking about last week, but go ahead. You tell me where you're at, how you're feeling, questions, what you need clarity on, next steps. Go ahead.
So we talked about in one of the group collaboration things where I could like help people teach music and how to like make the lyrics. I'm wondering, like, should I just make like private videos, like just talking and kind of going through my processes, or should I kind of make it in like a Zoom type of like collaboration work period? Like, I'm not sure how to go about like teaching people how to like do this.
I think that's something that you'll probably just kind of get a feel for as you do it. I think it would be valuable to kind of work with people one-on-one through Zoom calls nonetheless. And then similar to what we're doing here, you may find that once you're talking to someone else about it, opposed to just talking to a camera, you're actually able to explain it a lot better because you're just kind of talking on the fly. You're not overthinking it. And then if you record that, which you can do through Zoom, and then you re-upload that to your YouTube channel. And again, that could be set as like a private video, which you could post as an exclusive post through your Patreon as well. So yeah, I mean, just in response to that, that would be one thing. So I would say like maybe focus on doing the Zoom things, but if you feel that there's value in you just creating like a short, super concise 5-minute videos with graphics, you know, make it like kind of practice doing a Zoom call that may be longer, and then kind of practice like creating a short version of that. Just as like a 5-minute video with like, you know, bullet points, and just be like, here's your steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then join our Zoom calls and things like that. And again, you could even have like the short video could even be a free video, which could kind of help invite people into the Patreon and things like that. Now, again, like with your community, I think it's cool to be able to focus on the idea of like songwriting and everything like that. I think it's important to not kind of like niche yourself too much into that, because like out of your audience, how many of them are actually going to be interested in developing their skills as songwriters? I think if you can kind of frame it in this idea where it's not just about making music, it's really just about being able to help kind of like channel creativity and things like that. So you can kind of approach it from, it's like, hey, let's like every month we get together and we do like an open mic poetry cipher type thing. So some of it wouldn't even always necessarily be like, hey, I'm the teacher and I'm teaching you guys, but it's really just creating the value of the space for other people to feel safe and supported in practicing sharing their creative abilities. So there could almost be two styles of Zoom calls. One that's kind of like an open mic, and then one that's more kind of like an instructional behind the scenes type thing. Again, similar to how we're doing here. This is more like, I'm not expecting everyone to watch this, but there's value here. But then kind of if you create like a Zoom call that could be like open mic, again, what you're doing there, you're also offering value where through your audience, you're helping give a platform for other people who may just be getting started. So you start connecting with other musicians and be like, all right, guys, we're passing the talking stick over to this person, and this person's got their own SoundCloud for everybody here who's tuned in, and connect with them. So that would be part of the value, is kind of using your audience to help other people connect with the new members of your community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead. Yep.
So like to go off of this, I feel like I can provide like a lot of value. So I started a Fiverr account so that I can help sell my services with like mixing and mastering. And like, I think, you know, I think I have a really mix and mastering, and this is like incredibly valuable. And I think it's really high value. So I'm like thinking like, maybe I can like work this into the Patreon, but like, I feel like I don't want to like undersell myself. Like I don't want to like, I'm not sure, like I don't want to like have it be like super cheap and then like give out this like crazy good like tutorial, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That may be something that you might just choose to keep entirely separate from the Patreon, quite frankly. That has like kind of like a scale, a price that's going to be relative to the customer and to the client that you're working with. But at the same time, again, similar to like with the items in the shop, you could say like, hey, if you're a Patreon supporter and you want me to help you, you know, maybe even teach you how to do mixing one-on-one or something like that. That could be a thing where you're kind of like offering like one-to-one teaching services where you're kind of, you know, because that's the thing, that's your expertise. Your experience doing mixing, that's worth like, you know, thousands of dollars worth of time that you've invested over the years. So if you can kind of bring that into even just small group one-on-one type spaces where you can coach people, that could be a thing. So like that could be a part of like within your Patreon, where you might have like, you know, a specific date that you set up where you're just like, hey guys, in this live broadcast, I'm going to teach you guys how I do my mixing process. And then from there, it would just kind of invite them to be able to, because again, like you're trying to level them up so that they can kind of do all this on their own as well. But at the same time, you can say, here's how you do it. Here's your tools. Here's all the programs and everything like that. But at the same time, if you want me to help you with mixing, that would be like an additional, like either single contribution, but I would be able to give it to you at a discount because you guys are the Patreon supporters. But don't be afraid to like let them know, like be like, yeah, like when I'm doing this for clients and, you know, I'm working, it's like, you know, it's like $40, $50 an hour or something like that. Cause this is
Yeah.
like, you know, this is expert level, you know, professional mixing and stuff like that. But maybe you're giving it to them at a slightly cheaper rate. And again, that's also going to develop the relationship, because you want to be able to kind of like look into the future where people are going to say, hey, because I joined Oleg's Patreon, now look at me and I've released my own album on SoundCloud, just like how he did, type thing. So you kind of want them to be able to go to that, and then playing in that long game, eventually what you're almost doing is you're creating like a collective of conscious musicians, like specifically like that. If you can work towards that, like how do you get there? What would that look like? So the one-on-one plus like helping them mix when it's relative could be a thing. So yeah, what do you think? I mean, again, I'm just brainstorming here with you too. So
yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, because yeah, I do think it's really high value, and so even the discount thing, I think, would be really nice, and having a set date, I think. Yeah, I like those ideas a lot. Yeah.
Cool. Now with the with your Patreon as it currently set up, and we'll just talk about this, and then Pisces, we'll pass over to you, and then we'll go back and forth and things like that. Obviously, there's more to talk about. Right now, you got your one level at $5 level.
Yeah.
I would encourage you to move essentially what you got at the $5 level into a higher level. So again, basically like what I do, our kind of like standard level is the $11 level. And again, that's like already affordable, but it's affordable for people who may be getting more involved with it. But then at the $5 level, like that should basically just be the way how I do it. You can decide for yourself. The $5 level for people on my Patreon, it's just item discounts and access to like some private videos and stuff like that, but it is not access to the Zoom, and it is not access to the Discord and things like that. Because that way, again, you know, people might join at the $5 level, that kind of gets them interested and things like that, and then eventually they can kind of upgrade to the $11 level. But again, if you're providing all that value at the $5 level, you're cutting yourself a little bit short on that. And again, like even the $11 level, kind of with ours, we kind of make it like a sliding scale where like you could decide if you're like, well, maybe I want to put it at $13 or maybe I want to put it at $20. It's kind of up to you. I think when people are kind of new to something, if they haven't really had too much experience for it, I think $11 is a fair way for them to kind of get their foot in the door. And then again, even communicating and say like, hey guys, like I'm giving you guys way more value than just $11 a month. So know that this is a sliding scale. And if you guys want to increase your pledge, you can. And then over time, we can start brainstorming and decide, you know, like if they're signing up at $33 a month, what else does that give them? And that may give them, you know, like a little bit more like one-on-one private coaching with you. It could give them higher discounts for the item shop. It doesn't need to be all too much different. Like for mine, like most of my stuff is pretty much in the $11. And then up from that, it's just more discounts for the item shop and then more additional like one-on-one access. But the one-on-one access comes at like the like $100 level. And I don't do that commonly. It's more just kind of there if people want it. But again, knowing that people will join at the $11 level is a fair entry price. For most people who are just curious. But yeah, don't put everything in the $5 one. Have the $5 one is like almost just like a minimal thing. And then the $11 one should be like your primary community. That would be my suggestion. So
yeah, I had the access to the full recordings I had wrote there, but that wasn't the actual like they can't like join in that. That was just like the recordings that I had. Like how
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they don't join the Zooms; they just get the recording. Okay. Yeah, and that could be a thing too. Yeah, where they can still because like even on mine, like on the $5 level, they still get access to some of the secret videos. The thing that's different with mine is that I already make most of the videos public to begin with, because like even the public videos are kind of lead-ins to the Patreon. Plus, I just want people to get the value from them anyways. But yeah, I think just feeling it out. I think you're already moving in the right direction with that. So yeah, just a few tweaks here and there. And again, you know, like once you start getting your about section created, and you could even do, even for like, you can plug in a video there, like a video that you could plug in could be one of your music videos. It doesn't have to necessarily, even at the start, it doesn't have to be like a video where it's like, hey guys, this is me, Oleg, and here's welcome to my Patreon. Because you might change that. You might like, you know, you might be like a month into it and then you'll have to like make like a new video. But just once you get to the about section, you want it to be like fairly concise, fairly simple, something that people could read in like less than 2 minutes. My Patreon description is quite long. I actually need to go back and refine it. But yeah, just finding a simple way to be able to get
Mm.
the information across is obviously ideal. So, but yeah, just in terms of before we
Mm.
pass over to Pisces, how are you feeling about things? What do you feel your next steps are? Do you want to set like a target goal for when you're going to launch your Patreon and start talking about it out on your contents?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, right now I'm still like organizing all my ideas. Like my next steps is to have a full understanding on all the value that I'm going to be providing and how I'm going to be doing it. Like I want to figure out. So I don't want to like have it up there and then I'm like not sure like how it's going to run exactly. So I want to make sure I have that down so that I can have the next like level. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And again, with setting things up here, I do recommend creating like a Discord server for your
Mm.
community as well, and that's something that I can help you assemble and build as well. And I know that's something Pisces wanted to touch base on as well. And again, that goes for anybody listening here. If you guys are,
Okay.
like basically like if you are creating a Patreon, not having a Discord server is kind of like I don't know, like I just feel it makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
Patreon and Discord go very well
Yeah.
together because that's where you're going to be able to communicate your updates. That's where you're going to engage with people. That's where you're going to kind of entice people and let them get the foot in the door. And it's just going to help you keep things organized. So,
Hmm.
yeah, being able to create a Patreon for you, I think would be really, really valuable, especially considering the amount of people that you got. So like, that's
Yeah.
literally a thing that you could do where
Yeah.
it's just like, hey guys, to the thousands of people watching me on TikTok, we just created a Discord channel, join it, but make sure they understand what it is. It's not like you don't want to just be like, hey, this is just a channel where we're just going to talk about crazy shit, and things like that. Just be like,
Mm.
if you're looking to level up your creativity, if you want to work more with me one-on-one, if you want to get content about like how to be able to make your own music, the Patreons, the Discord channels for you. And then
Mm.
through once they join, once they're just like, yeah, I would like to join that. That's something free. That's something valuable. And then through there, you can, again, have in your welcome intro, like for full access, join here's what you get. And basically like the welcome channel in the Discord is kind of a plug for your Patreon as well. So it's kind of like getting them in the door, showing them what is available, and then inviting them to be able to connect further. But even for the people who aren't connecting on Patreon, there's still value there, just to be able to kind of like see the updates and be able to like take part in some of the conversation, and then making sure that you're like moderating the chat as well and setting all that up. But yeah, I think giving your audience, being able to invite people over the Discord will be one of the quickest ways to educate them about the existence of your Patreon. So
Right.
we'll have to set that up hand in hand. And I think with the size of your audience, that will probably be like, that could grow really fast. Like if you put up a
Yeah.
video, you could probably get like 50 people into the Discord within like a couple hours of a post going up, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I
just
wrote a comment. A bunch of people are saying that they would want it, so I'm like, I gotta get on this.
like already when you mentioned your Patreon, there are
Yeah,
already
yeah,
people.
just in
Cool.
one of the comments, there's a bunch of people who are like ready. So
There you go. Yeah. And that's good because again, like what you can almost do, you can kind of hype it up. You can be like, hey guys, I got some big stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be launching our Patreon, and I want to know who's going to be ready because we're going to like be rolling right out the gate.
Yeah.
So like if you're ready, send me a DM, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm going to send you the Patreon once it's ready. And I want you to be there first thing, because you want to create that inner circle. And again, and with that, you also want to make sure that you're using your own discernment to make sure that the people involved with the community are a good fit for you. Just because they join the Patreon doesn't mean that they have the privilege to kind of just like do whatever they want in the community and things like that. So that's where you make sure that you're into the guidelines and setting all that stuff up. And that's just again for the overall benefit of the entire community as well. But yeah, man, it sounds like you got some excitement building. It's great to hear that people are already interested. So I think you're moving in the right direction. So I think if we just kind of, touch base as we, go through the next couple steps, I think you'll probably be like ready to launch your Patreon. I would say like within the next 2 weeks at the most, I think it's quite probable to get it up and going. So, cause again, like with the Patreon, like the contributions are going to process on the first of each month. So if you can, we're starting at the start of a month, right? So if you can literally get things, even just like, see, that's the thing. Like even before you release it publicly, I would even encourage you to begin kind of doing a private invite to the Discord and to the Patreon before you kind of get it public. We talked about this before, but it's really, really important to have that first inner circle of people who are kind of there to help set the tone and there to help welcome other people in. So if you've got particular people, fellow musicians who you're already friends with, be like, yo, dude, we're building this like collective of like not just musicians but creative people. Again, it's similar to what we're doing, but that's okay because it's a different network. And then again, just kind of inviting them in and inviting them to share their content, and just kind of, and even then saying to them like, hey, like, yeah, you guys can join the Discord and understand like, yeah, this is relative to my Patreon. If you guys want to join the Patreon as we go, you guys are welcome to, but you might create like a special agreement where, again, you know, it's something that's going to be unique based on your relationship with that person. Because for you, there may be value in just like having that person involved with your video calls and your things like that. And another thing that you could even do that I think would be really cool is like literally bringing in like guests for some of your Zoom meetings, you know? So you might be able to reach out to people that are other conscious musicians and be like, hey guys, like this week we're going to have like a guest on who's got like, you know, 5 years of professional experience in the industry. And we're going to like talk about that. And again, this may branch out into you almost like, you know, parallel to this. You could do like a little podcast where you're interviewing specific creators and things like that. Again, similar thing, I've done it too. And again, same with Pisces as well, you know, like that could be a thing where like parallel to this, you're doing a little podcast and then the podcast creates value. And then, there's ideas there. There's lots of ideas there. But again, you're showing up, you're serving people, you're bringing people together, you're hyping it up by bringing in guests, things like that. Like, I think that's pretty exciting for the people who are already interested in your content. So yeah, cool, man. All right. How does that feel, Oleg? You feel like you've got some clarity on your next steps, excitement? Cool. Okay. I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Yes.
Cool, man.
Thank
cool.
you.
Sweet, dude. All right. So we'll just keep in touch, and let's see if we can get your Discord channel maybe like set up even this week. Just get like a basic version of it running, and then you'll update your about section into the Patreon, update your tiers. And then you'll have things ready to start softly inviting in that first circle. And then maybe in 2 weeks from now, you officially launch or something like that. I think that's doable. Aim to launch by like mid-September, and then give people 2 weeks to kind of join in before your first round of contributions process October 1st. I think that's doable. I think it's doable. So set that target goal for yourself.
Okay.
So.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Cool. No problem.
I like that.
Thank you. Okay. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving along here, guys. We'll pass it over to Pisces. So Pisces, if you just want to give me some updates on kind of where you're at, brainstorming, and we'll go from there. And we're almost it's like 3:45 right now, but we'll go a little bit past 4 just to be able to make sure everybody's getting what they need out of the meeting. So Pisces, welcome. And when you're ready, go right ahead.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me some time to share and some feedback here. To jump right on into things, I am I'm solid in my ideas and basically kind of what my Patreon is going to look like, and what I would love some help in really ironing out the specifics of my tiers and what the higher tiers would look like, because we haven't really gone there, and that's something I'd be I'd like to offer, you know, one-on-ones in the future and stuff. So, and then I'd like to really iron out a rollout, because I'd like to battle like my habits of making things bigger in my mind than they need to be, and kind of putting it on the back burner. And so I like the idea of this kind of soft, gentle rollout. I don't want to go too fast, but I also don't want to go too slow. So like steady pace for myself. My ideas right off the bat, just to let you guys know what I'll be offering, it's going to really reflect a lot of what I've seen you do, Brendan, because one, it's so successful, and we, you know, a lot of the same interests. So I'd like to take you up on the Discord creation, and inside that, I'd like to really exemplify your guidelines. Those really vibe with me. So any guidance there you'd like to give me, if I can just kind of copy paste that'd be lovely. I don't want to plagiarize. I'm just I want to really iron out the specifics though, because you embody this leadership that I would like to embody myself. So I get these Discord topics going of really just metaphysical topics, woke discussions, crystals, oracles, tarot, chakras, meditation, and content creation, and just kind of that bringing together the like-minded individuals. I'd like to have an item shop where I have metaphysical tools, herbs. I have a lot of those on hand, like crystals, so that it would be enticing people to get discounts, increase those discounts as the tiers go higher. I would like to have my Patreon offering exclusive videos such as how-tos for procuring your own herbs and crystals, best places to shop, advice for beginners. Not really too advicey, it'll be just a video I pre-created on how-tos so that I would have content for a one-on-one in the future. Expert level content, really, because I've had a lot of training in my life on content creation, not nearly as much as you, it sounds like, but like I've done a lot of self-reflection in my consuming, and I feel like I have a really an advantage in content creation that I'd like to share with people. Let's see. So like I said, access to the Discord would be in tier number 1. That would be entry with restricted permissions and minimal video exclusions and a small item shop discount. And I'm kind of wanted to bounce off of you guys. It seems like you're encouraging us to follow your model, which I wouldn't mind, of like not underselling ourselves, like a $5 tier to start and then an $11 tier for the second one. I would really love to do that. I don't know. I can't tell if it's my my past shadows that are telling me maybe I should start at $3 tier and a $9 tier. Is that maybe that'd be a good idea though? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Just in response to that, I think 5 and 11 is fair. I mean, quite frankly, if someone's going to sign up for 3, they're going to sign up for 5, and if someone's going to sign up for 9, they're going to sign up for 11. So yeah,
Truly, that makes sense.
Easy choice there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. That's exactly what I was looking for. Then offering group Zoom discussions as I get into tier 2, and the item shop discounts would increase. The Discord access, you would get permissions increased, not all, of course, and your exclusive video access would increase because I know I have constant downloads, and if I really had the abilities to create this stuff, I know that I would have enough to really be pushing like so much for everybody, and I'm really excited to have people help me help them. Yeah, then so for my Discord, my plans, obviously, I really like developing that strong inner circle. It seems like, I feel like I can see you may be doing that with Kristen. Pin Oaks Cove is within your Discord. I was hoping you could explain how that works to me. I'm really new to Discord, brand new. Downloaded it for.
Can you just ask that a question again, just to confirm?
What, if you could explain how is Pin Oaks Cove, how Discord works? Like, is Pin Oaks Cove,
so Pin Oaks Cove is her own server.
Whole separate server.
Yeah.
Oh,
like that's the thing. Like,
got it. Okay.
Yeah, like literally there's so many different servers in Discord. So like once you're in there, eventually you'll start joining other servers and stuff like that. But yeah, like, and on the left-hand side of your column or on mobile, it shows up.
Just
like that's a completely different server. Each one's its own.
I need to like label that little column.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not like Discord is my thing and all of these things are under it. No, it's exactly.
Like my brain automatically, because her invite kind of came from only being in your Discord first. I just thought it was like a piece of your Discord, but now I totally see how that works. Got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, go ahead.
And then as for just my specific questions, you offered help in throwing up a Discord server because you said it takes you like 5 minutes. I would really like to take you up on that, or if you maybe could just give me like a how-to for dummies. I don't know if you've ever heard of those books.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to look into. Discord actually has like this new option. This is not too been around for too long, where you can actually set up like a template for a server. So I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna spend some times, and then that will probably just save all of us some time if I can literally just kind of forward you guys a template, and then that will give you something to kind of build off of. Where again, you basically kind of have like your entry roles, and then you have again you like your tier roles as well. So yeah, but keeping it simple and stuff like that. But yeah, no, either way, I'd be able to create it pretty flawlessly, pretty quickly, and then you just be able to like punch in all the details and stuff like that. But yeah, no, we can do that. We can set some time for that. So that could even be like literally even tomorrow. I'll have some time to help you guys with that if you want. So we'll
I'll
just get
jump
started.
on that
Yeah,
right
yeah,
away. Yes, tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. And so, any other thing you want to go over? Do you want me to give some feedback on specific things?
Maybe feedback on a timeline for developing my tiers and a timeline for rolling out my tiers. That would be really helpful.
Okay. I think what's important with your tiers is just kind of reflecting on the idea of like, what do you feel is needed within your community? You know, like, so again, like with Oleg, it's like, okay, like his experience is in like music creation, music production, so that's what he's kind of called to do. Within yours, like if you're kind of doing, you know, like stuff that would be of more value, such as kind of like one-on-one stuff, if you're creating, again, you know, like at a higher tier, like this is where, you know, you could literally create something where there could be a higher tier where it could be like $200 or $300, and this could be something where you're working with these people for like 1 hour a week or something like that. And then if you do that, instead of and this could be like this could apply for you. It might be a little bit different based on the content. But if you're doing something where, again, it's kind of like a soul coaching type thing where you're just kind of like helping people move into a place of their own accountability, instead of trying to get like, you know, 30 people signed up for your Patreon, if you can kind of focus that same energy towards being able to communicate your high value and being able to get 4 people signed up at a higher level, that's an option too. So it's kind of like a ratio where you can kind of do the math. But I think even then, just being able to make sure that you're communicating that clearly. And then even then, that could be something that may be not fully a part of your Patreon. It may be something where literally on your Patreon, you just have a $5 and the $11 tier. You could decide on higher tiers later, but even just to kind of like start communicating, just like, hey guys, like I'm opening up spaces for some like one-on-one shadow coaching or something. You would call it something that would be kind of unique, without necessarily calling it life coaching again. But something where it's like within these, like this is where you would work with me one-on-one. And this would be like, again, kind of, you could do like individual tarot readings with someone. And then even then kind of like, don't even have like a set price that you're just telling people verbally through your message. Just be like, I'm putting this out there just to see who's interested. That way, so people don't get scared off from the price right away. And you may find someone where someone's like, hey, I actually would like to do this. Here's my budget. What can we do to make this work, right? So kind of allowing a little bit of room for flexibility could be a thing. And then you're developing that relationship with those people, and then those people might become your Patreon supporters as well. That's something where even though it's valuable to do that, it's always going to be kind of up in the air in terms of whether or not those people will stick around for a certain period of time. The lower tier Patreon supporters are going to be more likely to just kind of continue to be there. And that's kind of what you want. You kind of want to build the small bricks one at a time, opposed to having like the big investments from people, because you don't want to kind of like be like, okay, sweet, I did it. And then suddenly that person's like, sorry, I have to cancel my membership. And then you're just like, oh, fuck, now I can't buy groceries or something like that, right? So you kind of, which can happen. So like you do want to be able to, on the side, maybe begin doing a little bit of the promotion for the high end stuff as you start building the little things. And then eventually you start kind of weaning it out, where if you're just like, okay, maybe I was doing 4 people for one-on-one coaching. Now maybe I'm only doing it for 2 people. And it's for people who like really resonate with you. But be open to that idea that as you can continue to communicate your value and again, doing live broadcasts and holding space for people there, give people a chance to get to know you. And then through there, open up to the idea that there are people out there that do value the idea of being able to work with you one-on-one a couple times a month at like $200 or $300 a month or something like that. And you bring your expertise into it. So I think just being open to that could be something that you could start brainstorming. And again, that would still be, and that could still be something where literally through your Patreon, you could have that as like a discount where it's like you join on my Patreon and yeah, you're getting discounts for items, but you're also getting discount for like my special high tier coaching type thing. So again, inviting into the people into the Patreon can be a way to lead them into the higher end coaching, because essentially anybody who's joining your Patreon already likes your vibe, and those people would actually become possible people that you would direct into your coaching. And then even again, and what you could do, like, again, this is for everybody here, positioning yourself into a place of authority is very valuable. And so this is where your Discord channel, you could literally have like a channel within your Discord where only you post, where you could say like, hey guys, like here's my availability for this week for one-on-one spaces, and kind of make it sound as if it's like this is something where like you got to act fast, like, because like this is a popular thing. Someone's going to jump in on this, but you can literally have a channel within your Discord where again, you're inviting people into the Discord for free. But within this, they are seeing updates and notification where you're like, hey guys, I've got a spot open for like my soul coaching. Please let me know if you're interested ASAP type thing. So you could use the Discord to actually bring in more of like the higher end clients as well. At least that's just one way to be able to do it. What do you think? How does that sound? How does that feel? Do you think that could be something you'd be interested in doing? Because like I know doing the one-on-one stuff is something that is that something you're called to, doing the one-on-one stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm so that resonated with me. I was writing so fast. I
could tell.
covered myself listening.
Cool.
I was like, oh yeah. So sorry. Thank you so much. Then I think, let me try to remember back. There was something that popped up that I wanted to try to say to the end, and I think I didn't write it down. So yeah. Just gonna refer to that, that exclusive kind of one-to-one offering as my ghost tier. I'm not going to actually have that on Patreon. Like you said, I'm going to keep that, I'm going to keep, like you said, offerings in the Discord until I get to a point where it's feasible to have it offered and there's, a demand for it.
Yeah. And one thing, even just with that, like having like the higher tiers, like depending on what it is, like it can be a little bit complicated, because if your contributions are only processing on the first of each month, you don't want someone to sign up on the third of the month and then suddenly they're getting all this access to you and then suddenly they change their mind and you never get paid. So if there is a version of that higher tier, there has to be some sort of agreement where it's like, before we do our session, you're going to pay like 75% of what you would have paid if we were partway through the month already, or something like that, or some sort of agreement or something. Like you have to make sure that you're just not putting yourself in a vulnerable spot where you're giving yourself away before people have actually contributed. With the smaller tier on Patreon, it's a little bit more doable, because it's like if and you don't hope that they would drop out and stuff like that, it's not a huge deal, because again, your focus is kind of more on the collective, opposed to being divided by the individual people. And again, this is where you guys can kind of see, like with mine, I'm bringing in more people onto the Patreon, but essentially I've consolidated my focus into things such as these meetings, and into things such as the broadcast, and into things such as the meditations. So I'm showing up in a collective group space where I'm communicating with people. They get that connection. Again, this applies to you as well. Instead of dividing yourself indefinitely between one-to-one to one-to-one interactions, because that will get exhausting. So that's where, again, like having the group Zoom calls, having the group Q&A live broadcast, the group broadcast, things like that, that will just kind of help you allow things to compartmentalize your energy, so that even as you bring more people in, it just means more of an audience, but it doesn't mean suddenly your workload is being multiplied at the same time. Like if there was 10 people in this call, it would still involve the exact same amount of energy as it does for 2 people, because it's just a matter of me being present with my focus, and then everyone gets what they need to, and then we kind of go out and again, and even still, even within our community, like if people do want to do like one-on-one stuff with me, there is that option there. It doesn't happen very often because of the fact that we coordinate these meetings. So even when I'm coordinating them, if someone's like asking me and be like, hey, like can I get some additional stuff on that? Before I say, hey, let's do a one-on-one, I would just be like, hey, like are you able to join in for any of the work periods this week? And then again, and even with the work periods, like I'm not expecting people to literally join Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Part of the reason we do it for 3 different days is because if somebody can't join Monday, then maybe they can join Tuesday. So this is where, again, kind of like as a community, if you guys join more than once throughout the week, that's fine, but it's kind of set up in a way where, you know, for most people, maybe once a week, one of these meetings is more than enough. So you pick one of those days and then you just kind of join, and each day kind of has different people and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, let's get close to wrapping this up. Pisces, yeah, again, I think if we can get a Discord channel set up for you pretty soon, that will be good. Do you have your Patreon already? No, I already asked you this. No, you don't, but you're writing out your tiers and stuff like that. So that would be another thing, yeah, to get the actual link.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah. So is it all mobile friendly? Like, I know I have the Patreon app and you can't do anything on there, so I switched to the actual like desktop version on my phone, and you can do things on there. I just have not perused the actual platform yet.
Yeah, operating the Discord from desktop is how I do it. I don't have the Patreon app on my phone anymore. I used to. I think I just deleted it for space. Like I don't need it. All the notifications come through my email and stuff like that. And then I post from desktop. But if you do have the app on your phone, you can post on the go. So it is good like that. And there are kind of like other little things within Patreon. I think there's little things there that I'm not even fully aware of, where you can kind of, again, create like almost like you can set up like live broadcasts through Patreon. But at the same time, I think if you're having a Discord server, you don't need to do that. And then you just keep your Patreon simple, where the posts are either public or they're exclusive. But other than that, like don't get super complicated with your Patreon, because again, I think for the users, you want them to kind of like sign up for the Patreon and then focus on the Discord. That's what you kind of want to do instead of kind of dividing them. The Patreon will be good for sending out notifications because it will send out to people's email, but it doesn't require them to log into Patreon in order to be able to engage with. Like, that's the thing with my Patreon. I always create the posts and I know they're being sent out to people's emails. I don't get much engagement on my Patreon because I don't think a lot of people on a base, like in a habitual way, log into Patreon or have it on their mobile device and are liking posts on my Patreon. Some creators, that's actually a thing where like, and again, this is where you could even use your Patreon to create like voting things, but you could also create voting things even within Discord as well. So I would keep things quite simple with the Patreon and then direct people over to the Discord. And if there's anything that you thought you wanted to do on the Patreon, you could probably do it through the Discord channel, and then just keeping it simple for people so that they don't have to divide their focus onto too many platforms, because that's going to, you know, turn people off in a lot of ways. They're just like, just give me something simple. So yeah. But yeah, so I would say, again, yeah, when you get a chance, Pisces, just go on desktop, create that account. And again, name your Patreon, because this is one thing we talked with Oleg, to name your Patreon like your name. Like, keep it simple, right? Like, keep it. And this is where even for your Instagram, I know, is Pisces Psyche's taken on Instagram? Like, is there a reason you have the 8 in the Pisces 8 Psyche? I'm just curious. Is there a way to change that?
My Instagram, I used to go back and forth based on, you know, my depressive spells between 2 usernames. So Pisces Psyche is my OG username. And then it was Dead to You for like 3 years. And when I was like, okay, I'm over that, I'm going to go back to Pisces Psyche, someone had taken it and I was like, fine.
Oh, okay. So they literally like snagged it and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit of a hiccup and stuff like that. Yeah, because ideally you want that consistency. So it's like, shit, like,
I literally
pick a new name? Like I don't know. Like I know.
I actually wanted your feedback on that because I noticed your first and last name is blasted on everything basically, and I just get, I don't know. I get freaked out about like sharing my full name, but I don't know if it really matters.
Yeah. For mine, yeah, I have my full name because again, it's like me as a person and stuff like that.
Which is what I want to work towards. So.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean, that's again, you know, like maybe even as you're doing things, there could be an opportunity for you to kind of create like a new name for yourself, a new brand. I don't know. It's something to meditate on, because that will actually give you the benefit of just being able to create like a consistent name. So the Patreon, the Instagram, and the TikTok is all the same, right? Because
Yes.
it's not a huge deal right now if your Instagram is like a little bit different, because most of your engagement will kind of come through the TikTok and then lead to the Instagram. Ideally, you want it to be consistent, but then again, it's like, yeah, is your Patreon going to be Pisces Psyche? But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if you were to sit and meditate, like maybe again, like when people think like Pisces Psyche, I understand what that means, but is there another name that maybe could almost tell people, like when they hear your name, they kind of like know what you're doing. They know what you're about.
Something that's more of a brand
Kind
that
of,
can
yeah.
be consistent, because Pisces Psyche is super general. You know, it's definitely just my personal username before I really became called to develop and brand myself. So I'm totally open.
Okay. Yeah, I think just take some time to kind of meditate on that, because there could be a lot of power in kind of picking a new name and like and doing it from a place of empowerment. Would be like, all right, guys, it's like it's kind of like the birthing of like a new version of your superhero persona,
right.
like in a sense as well. And I mean, Oleg, whether or not you decide that as well, I don't know. It's up to you, because I know you're pretty consecutively branded as well, like that. Maybe if there's even like a subtitle to your name or something like that, like obvious, like the sound wizard up from the future or something like that. I don't know. But again, when people hear your name, they kind of want to be able to like understand like what it is that you do, or at least within the first line of your Instagram and your TikTok bio, it should explain what you do. And that'll be another thing. We can talk about that another day. We're going to get wrapped up here just before we hit the hour mark. Make sure that you guys optimize your bio information for your TikTok and your Instagram. Make sure you got your link tree there, make sure it's consistent, and make sure that there's like also like kind of like a call to action within your profile. So literally within your profile, you could say like, join our Discord or join our community of creators or something like that, click here type thing. Having a call to action in your bio is actually quite useful. But in your bio, it should literally be like your name and then like what you do and like what you help people with type thing, you know, like for me, it'd be like a spiritual superhero helping shift consciousness. And then, you know, for obvious, it could be like, yeah, like a sound wizard helping unlock your creativity or something like that, you know? So like having that little blurb. So right as people connect, they know. And again, literally as soon as people connect to your TikTok, for example, because again, for obvious, your videos go quite viral. And so for every person that lands on your TikTok, that should also be an invitation for them to potentially be invited to your Discord or something like that, you know? So make sure that you're utilizing that space so it literally becomes a chance to communicate a message to them, even if it's one sentence, but have it as a call to action. Join our Discord, join here, you know, type thing. So something like that. So cool, guys. Okay. We're going to wrap this up just to be able to conclude at the hour mark. How are you guys feeling right now? Any just like even just gratitude or any next steps? You guys feeling okay? Pisces, go ahead.
I'm excited and super thankful for this space, and this little brainstorming crew was so helpful, and I feel motivated and I feel really ironed out, and definitely going to start immediately. So thanks.
Cool. Awesome. And if you want any feedback on any new names or anything like that, I'd be excited to hear. So cool.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So
cool.
maybe I'll find
even,
a way.
Yeah, you may, and even post in our team chat, just be like, hey guys, I'm picking some names, vote for it or something like that. You get some
definitely
ideas.
Definitely going to do that.
If there's something there, you'll find it. So cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Pisces. All right, obvious. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I have another question, but I feel like it would take a while. So I guess I'll ask it like tomorrow or something.
Well, just ask it real quick and maybe I'll answer just outside the broadcast. So.
Okay. So like you do like your conscious creator coaching. Like I was doing like the music and like the spiritual stuff. Like I wasn't sure like if I should offer like spiritual music or spiritual people, like advice, musicians, and then just overall creators also advice. And like I'm not sure, like, because I always love like giving away this kind of knowledge, like when people are DMing me, but like I don't have the time to like get through them. Like I'm offering the tier so I can give them like the first response is like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Ask your question again, just really simply, like what?
Okay. Yeah. So like I want to like, I give out like spiritual advice a lot, music advice, and just like advice to just creators in general. Like Is
Right.
that like, should I just keep it like that? You know what I mean?
And you just kind of like that's just stuff that like, you're like doing through like DMs and everything like that is kind of what you mean.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, like there may be a thing where like, yeah, like within your Patreon where again, it could be something where like when you sign up at like a higher level tier, and again, this goes for Pisces too. Not everything that you offer needs to be, I should have mentioned this earlier, not everything that you offer needs to be like pure video one-to-one. Like you can literally offer it where it's like, hey, when you guys join at the $30 level, you have access to me through voice communication or text communication 24/7, and obviously I'll reply when I can type thing. And then out of that, the next tier could be like the video type thing. So it could be something where it's like, hey guys, if you want me in your corner, be it as a spiritual coach, a musician coach, or this, like you can kind of put it all into one. Whatever you need me for, I'm here for you. Some people are literally gonna sign up for the same thing because they're gonna be like, yeah, dude, I'd love some technical advice. And then again, they can kind of touch base with you. And then other people are gonna be like, maybe I just have some spiritual questions and things like that. But yeah, that I should have mentioned this earlier, but that could be one of the tiers where again, at the like the $25, $30 level, people get access to you through text and voice, and they can just have that ongoing and you reply when you can. But then at like the $50, $60, $100 level, $300 level, that's where you get more into like the one-on-one video calls, if that's something that you feel called to. So I mean, there could be some tweaking that you could do there where it's like, yeah, you're kind of offering a variety of things, so it kind of depends on what people want as well. But I mean, there may be some people that are just like, yeah, I just want to be able to kind of have you as like a bit of like a spiritual coach type thing, or again, just be able to like have more like that one-on-one relationship, because your presence is valuable, and just being able to have that for some people is something that's going to mean a lot to them as well. So yeah, that's something we can talk a little bit more about. But yeah, I mean, obviously, go ahead. Let me know if just any thoughts on that, whether that fully answers your question. I don't know, but.
Yeah. So, cause like, yeah, that answers my question. But like I love answering the questions like for free, you know, on DMs. But like, so I should just continue people, but then like be like, if you wanna.
Yeah. Just be like, yeah, just kind of like make sure that they'll just be like, hey, like, you know, give a little bit of reply, and then just be like, hey man, like, thank you so much for reaching out. If you haven't already yet, check out my Patreon. And then like, that's where I offer like more kind of service and stuff like that. So like, you're not trying to be like shady or anything like that, but like, if people come to you, again, your first objective is to develop the relationship. So you don't want to kind of put like a bad taste in it, but you do want to be clear in communicating your boundaries and your values type thing. So if you feel called to, you know, depending on the question, just, and again, like sometimes there may be some questions that you literally just don't reply to. Like that's okay. You guys do have that choice to be able to make it for yourself. You don't literally have to reply to every single question that comes your way, sort of thing. But yeah, I think if people are just kind of DMing you questions and stuff like that, just make sure that in some way you just kind of gently communicate and say like, look, like, I'd love to, like, you can even just be like, hey, like I've got 10 minutes to chat or something like that. After that, I got a jet, but if you want to connect further, make sure you connect to my Patreon and then just ask me if you have any questions there. But you're responsible for communicating those boundaries, and don't feel bad about doing it. Feel it out. It's going to be different for every single person, because there may be some people where you're just going to be like, okay, I just feel called to help this person for whatever reason. And the universe will kind of like pay it forward in some way or another. So, but yeah, once you kind of get your Patreon out there and everything like that, you can even create some videos where it's just like, I get a lot of people DMing me and asking me questions. And for those of you who want to connect further, here's what's available type thing. Do it as an investment for yourself. Yeah, it's unfair to you to just constantly make yourself available and not communicate to people what your services and your boundaries are and things like that. So you can do it. You can still do it in a friendly and a polite way. And if people are, and this is the thing, if you are genuinely polite about it and people take it the wrong way, then they were not people that were meant to connect with you on that level in the first place. And you're just like, and if you need to, you just be like, hey, sorry, dude, like this is, you know, like I appreciate it, but you know, boundaries and stuff like that. So yeah. But again, it's something you feel out over time. So, but yeah, I do think, and again, even for you Pisces, I do think the idea of having like the one-on-one just through text and just through voice messaging would actually be really valuable for you as well. Cause your schedule is going to be different for everybody here. So find a way where you can just kind of like get a message, hop on, reply through voice. And the other thing, there's a good voice app that you can use called Voxer. That's one that I've used in the past, Voxer. And that's where, like, rather than just telling people that they can send you DMs through Instagram and things like that, because it'll get lost in all your stuff, create a separate account on something such as Voxer. And then that's where people can send you voice messages. And that's just for your clients type thing. So that it just helps keep it organized and compartmentalized as well. And it's fair to them. So, but yeah, guys, we've covered a lot of ground in this. Real quick, Pisces, like just on what I said, does that resonate with you? Does that sound like something that might work?
Definitely. I wrote down like 3 more tier ideas, like a $30, $60, and all that.
Okay, cool.
And then I just wanted to send Obvious some green fluorite energy to help him with his dreams and goals. Because while he was talking, I was sending it to him. And
Cool.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Sweet. And again, last note just on what I was saying there, you could literally
thank you, Brandon.
Thank you as well, Obvious. You could literally divide the tiers where it's like at the $30 level, you get access to me through messaging, like just text messaging. And then at the $50 level, that's voice messaging. And then at the $75 level, that's one-on-one video call type thing. And then at the $150 level, that's like me doing custom meditations and like Reiki and soul extraction type things, whatever, right? Like you guys got all sorts of superpowers you can implement. So yeah. Okay, cool team. All right, I think, are we ready to wrap this up? This went a little bit longer than planned, but that's totally cool. So you guys good? Good to go? Okay, cool. All right, team, let's just say goodbye to everybody here and give me like some like peace signs as we like kind of like say hello to everyone. So be like, hi everyone, peace, yeah. Well, can I tag you guys on Instagram in that one? Is that cool?
please.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And again, for those of you listening to this in the future, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but if you want to get involved with these meetings, our work periods for conscious creators, check out our Patreon. Check out my Patreon. You can join there as a leading member at the $11 level. And if you have any questions, either let me know, join our Discord, send me a message on Instagram. And yeah, we'll be back here again for the next one. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
Love, light.
Go team, go.